Welcome to Shahu Academy.
Hello and welcome to Shahu Academy. We have already done the track event. Now we will read about it. First of all, we will read about the long jump. Look, it has a runway like this, and it has a landing area like this, and the landing area has to be dug up to 50 centimeters and filled with sand. Okay, what should it have? It is made of soft. The landing pit and its length is 9 meters long. The landing pit and its width are 2.7 from 5 meters to 3 meters. It should be in the middle, that is, minimum it should be 2.75 meters and maximum should be 3 meters. And it has a takeoff line to take the jump. Here the player will jump from behind it. And the distance from the line to the center of the landing area is between 1 and 3 meters. This line should be placed at such a distance and the runway in it. See the line in the runway in white color. It should be 5 centimeters 50 mm, that is, 5 centimeters wide. The lines of the runway should be attached. Okay, here the player will run from the runway. And how long should it be? It is 40 to 45 meters long runway, and its length is 1.2 meters. Besides, the takeoff board is installed here near the takeoff line. And the takeoff board should be made of wood, and the material should be such that the spike of the athlete's shoes should grip it and not slip, and it should be of white color. What is its thickness? Thickness 0.10 meter, or you can call it its width 20 centimeter and its length 1.2 meter. Now an indicator board is also installed on the front side of this takeoff board. Goes in front of here and it's put in, and what it does is, as you know, it's used in children's models and so on, and it's also used in the long jump competition to help whether it is a legal jump or a fall jump. The plastic helps in this matter, because if the foot goes in front of the takeoff board, it falls on the plastic, then it is detected. And this indicator board is rigid and should be made of wood or any other material. And its length is also 1.2 meters, and it's 10 centimeters, and its height is 7 mm. And this indicator board should be placed at an angle of 90 degrees. In the previous rule, the indicator board was placed at a 45-degree angle. A plastic board was used, but the current rule has changed. Now it will be placed at an angle of 90 degrees. Right now, in November 2021, this rule will be implemented. Many times the fall was not detected, that's why now it has been changed to 90 degrees. After that, we take some of his techniques, how to jump in long jump. Is there a fundamental skill to jump? First of all, if you are a new athlete, you have to check your strong foot. What you have to do to check the foot is that you have to jump with one leg for some distance, which is called jumping with the lame leg. You go here with the left foot. So it means that the left foot is your strong foot. And likewise, if one goes to a greater distance with the right foot and goes to a lesser distance with the left foot. So right foot is what it is, strong foot. Now that you know your strong foot, you have to put a check mark first on the runway. And why these jack marks are placed? They are placed so that we can adjust our footing as we run, and our strong foot comes here at the time of takeoff so we can make a good jump. So what do you do here? A check mark will be placed at a distance of 12 to 16 steps from the board. You can place the check mark forward or backward according to your steps. If it should come, after putting all the check marks etc., you come first, that is, you will run from here to the runway. This is called the approach run. And how well you run? How well you run at a controlling speed depends on how good your jump will be. Well, the approach run should be like this and should also be at a good speed. There should also be a maximum speed, but that speed should be controlled and there should be consistency. It should be in such a way that you control the speed when you are taking the jump here, then take the approach run in this way, and after the approach run, the takeoff is very important in the long jump. Is because if you do a good takeoff, good jump here, you can jump here for a long distance, and at the time of takeoff, right here you will jump from this board. Try the player in the middle of the board. Jump with your full strength and balance, and keep one thing in mind, the player can do what he has with the jump, but he cannot do the takeoff line at all, and if the player does the takeoff line he does, well, he goes in front of this boat, then he will fall, well, he will jump, fall, jump, then after jumping in this way, how will he be in the air or in this way? You can see here. How will their position be in the air after jumping? How can we make our jump longer? These things come into it. we will read it further, then after that, look inside landing. A player can either land on his back with his heels or land on his hips. He must try to land forwards. Next, we see how many ways his position is in the air or how many styles there are of jumps. Here we see the first is the sail style. Will jump in a way, and the hands that he has will be in this way towards the back, and he will try to push his body forward in such a way that this is followed by a hanging style, hanging, as the name suggests, in which a position is created in the air where it looks like you are hanging. Well, here you can see it like this, and the third one is the hiccup or cycling style. When doing this kind of moment, he tries to push the villain forward as much as possible, and then the landing is done in this way. And these are 3 methods of long jump. Next we see when the fall jump happens. For a correct jump, an athlete does not have to touch the takeoff line, he has to jump behind the takeoff line. Yes, he can jump by placing his feet on the takeoff board, he can also jump from behind it, there will be no fall, but if he touches the takeoff line, he touches the front of it or the ground. That will be considered fall. And can't jump from outside of it too, that will also be a fall jump. But yes, if the player falls outside the runway while running or falls on this line, then he will not fall, but here he takes it out of the runway, then he will be considered to fall. And the player can't even touch this takeoff line, he can't touch it even a little, and the rule that has changed a little now they have made it a little clear. Now they say that at the time of takeoff, if someone breaks the vertical plane of the takeoff line, then it will still happen. Will be accepted. Because many times what happens is that the player jumps in front of him and stays on top of what he has or his paw, but does not touch it, and neither does he touch it in this case. It is a bit difficult to detect here, so it has been written here that even if the foot remains, it will be accepted. In addition, if he jumps from the front or from the board, then he will fall, that is, if he jumps outside this line, then it will be considered as a fall jump. Now if the player touches the runway before landing, or if he touches outside the ground or touches outside the landing area, even then it will be considered a jump-fall jump. See if the player falls on the landing pit in such a way that if he sees the body that is closest to him, the measurement is done from there. How is the measurement done? The measurement is taken from the takeoff point of the athlete who is closest to his body, then look at his hand, which is the closest to his body, and it is here. If outside the pit, it will not be considered a valid jump, it will not be measured, but if the athlete lands it, it will be considered a valid jump. Because the closest run of his body to the takeoff point is within that putt, it will be considered a valid jump and will be measured. Now let's see some more rules. First of all, if the competitor wants, he can take it before the competition starts. But once the competition starts, then he cannot use the takeoff area or use the landing area, that is, no one can do practice trials. He depends on it how many participants are there, how many competitors are there. If the players are less than 8, then 6 trials will be given to each player, but if the players are more than 8, then 3 trials will be given to each player, and then again. Out of the 8 best players who will be selected, they will be given 3 trials. Each performer is given 1 minute to complete their jump. Then the next thing is to see, as we read earlier, that the player can use a trick to take off in the runway. But no one can use something like chalk for that check mark. Or anything that cannot be erased. They can do the advisory tape that is given to the organizing committee. They can do it here for the jack mark and then how it is taken after the jump. See here which is the closest run of this player from takeoff point. See this one from here. This one points the nearest run, then it will be taken from here. So the players should try to see what their hands are on their side, because even if they jump here and the first run of his body, even if he has his feet here first, but from where will the measurement be taken, which is the closest run of the wicket, so try to jump, he will move his body forward. After the push and jump, the player will then come out from the front in this way. Can take it, or if there is a jump somewhere here, then you can't take such slashes. In this way, how exactly will it be taken straight? In this way, it will be measured from here. Okay, this way, it will be measured from here. Straight here, this is how the measurement is taken. Another thing to see in it is its measurement. It should be on this side. That is, the 0 point of the measuring tape should be on the side of this break point. This side should take its measurement here near the takeoff line. Because the chief